Hello friends, I hope your 2023 is off to such a fantastic start. I rarely do videos like this, but I wanted to take some time to just sit and chat with you all. This is definitely going to be different than our normal fashion try-on hauls, so please bear with me. I'm going to get a little vulnerable with you all today. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I recently just celebrated my 1 year of sobriety, which is something I'm super proud of, and I'll explain a little bit more why later. But throughout my sobriety journey in 2022, I had a few of you actually reach out to me on Instagram and ask if I would share more about it and do a video on my YouTube channel about my sobriety. So that is what this is. If this is of no interest to you, I will take no offense. Feel free to move on. But if you want to learn more about my sobriety journey, stay tuned. The question that I get asked the most, even from the people that know me the best, is why? Why are you doing this? You are such a, fun, happy-go-lucky, successful person. You don't have a problem. Like, you don't need to not drink. You can control it. You don't need to do this. And the thing that I'll just say is, you never know what someone is going through behind closed doors. I think like society, especially some of the suicides and losses that we've seen over the last few months, really signify that. Some of the happiest people are struggling the deepest. And so I just want to say, like, you can never judge a book by its cover, okay? Starting off the year, I do a dry January cleanse every year. This is a good way for me to really just detox, center myself, ground myself, and really focus on what I want to achieve in the new year. So every January I take a break. Like many of us throughout the pandemic, I was bored. I was so bored. And drinking for me was a form of entertainment. It became a very bad habit that I picked up where I would drink probably 4 to 5 times a week. Pretty significantly. We're not talking like a beer after work. We're talking like 5 to 7 drinks 4 to 5 times a week. Very unhealthy, okay? This was wreaking havoc on my body, my mind, my relationships. During that time, I also started a relationship that then went away, and then I turned to alcohol to try to help me out of that, and that was really unhealthy too. I was drinking myself to self-medicate, which is not good. So in 2020, a lot of bad things happened for a lot of us, right? We were all very anxious, nervous, scared of the coronavirus. I myself was living by myself, had very little human interaction outside of a relationship that I started that then ended in probably the most heartbreaking way I could have imagined. And here I was in 2021 trying to figure it all out, and I struggled for a lot of 2021, if not all of it. Mentally I struggled. So as we were approaching the end of 2021, I was just sick. I was sick of myself. I was sick of the way I was living my life. I was sick of waking up hungover and then repeating the process day in and day out. It just was not working for me anymore. So I, of course, knew I was going to start my yearly cleanse come January, and I was actually really looking forward to it. And while doing my dry January cleanse, my mom got really sick to the point where we were having discussions around hospice care. It was really scary, and it got very real for me very quickly. And I just kept thinking to myself, God, I would want to drink. I just want to drink right now. God, I would kill for a drink right now. This is too much to handle. This is too much to take on. I am only one person, and I'm halfway across the country. How am I going to do this? I just want to have a drink right now. And that was such a aha moment for myself. I had conditioned myself to turn to alcohol to help fix my problems or to take away the stress or worries of my life. And that is never the answer. That is never the answer. So during my dry January cleanse, I kind of had this epiphany aha moment when I was going through a really difficult time in my life that I would have normally just drowned away myself in alcohol. And through that, I had a pretty tough pill to swallow to say, wow, I really have a problem, and that is not the solution. And this dry January cleanse needs to be longer than just a month. Like I have got to figure this out because I cannot go back to my old patterns and habits. I cannot. Something else you should know about me and my family history is that my family, my immediate family, meaning my sister, my mother, my father, all struggle significantly with addiction. It is in my blood from both sides. I'm the only one in my family who has not been incarcerated for something alcohol related. That's how serious it is. So I know and I respect the fact that it is in my blood and that it is a very fine line that I walk every time I pick up a drink to being able to spiral and go down that exact same path that has plagued my entire family. So while I was navigating a lot of difficult stuff with my family and my mother's health, I made the conscious decision to just not pick up alcohol. I didn't have a date in mind of when I was going to release myself from that. I didn't say for a year, for 3 more months. I just said, I have no desire to pick this up. I know that that is not the answer. That is not healthy for me. And a lot of the reason why my mom is in such poor health is because she drank herself to this. This is what has given her this lifestyle, and I want nothing to do with that. And so I just never picked it up again. There were times where I was really tempted. I think there's a huge mindset shift that needs to happen when you choose sobriety or you choose to not drink anymore on what being social means. Because so much of my life, especially being in sales and marketing, is about socializing with wine and drinks and dinner and, the schmoozing. It was a big shift for me to be able to look at social events and time with people and understand that I could go to those and not have a drink in my hand. In fact, I can go to those and have a better time, show up in my authentic self that's not being masked by alcohol, and have genuine conversations with people that I might not have had otherwise. I think that's the biggest concern of people when they think about quitting drinking is, well, I'm gonna lose out on so much social activity and like the FOMO, right? I'm telling you, you can still be social, you can still go to events, you can still travel, you can still go to happy hours. I still go to happy hours with people and I just get a sparkling water or a soda water instead of a vodka soda. No one knows the difference but me. And I feel better and I feel clear-headed and I can drive myself home and I'm not gonna wake up with a hangover. Like, it is just game-changing. It's a huge mindset shift to take alcohol out of social. That's not synonymous, and it doesn't need to be synonymous. It shouldn't be synonymous. Society has created that synchronicity, but it doesn't need to be that way. And I still have so much fun while being sober and not drinking. I have traveled so much in 2022. I went to Hawaii twice. I went to New York. I went back home. I visited friends and family, which is normally a huge trigger for me. Being home with family is a big, big trigger in my life for stress, anxiety, depression, and normally I would turn to alcohol. I made it through a home visit in 2022 without turning to alcohol. Yes, I had to come back and do some pretty significant therapy. We're not going to talk about that. But I would 1000% choose that over spiraling into a toxic cycle again any day. I just got back from a 10-day cruise on the Caribbean where I was surrounded by people drinking all day, every day. I had unlimited drinks at my disposal as part of like my cruise package, and I didn't pick up a single drink. And I know that that sounds way easier said than done for so many of us. Addiction is a disease. It is real. It's not something that you can just flick on and off and wake up one day and say, I'm not going to be addicted anymore. But for me, I think the change or the difference is that I don't think I was truly addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to finding ways to avoid my trauma, my stress. And that came in a lot of different forms of alcohol, shopping, gambling, eating, you name it. Like anything that would take my mind off of my trauma, the stress, that's what I was addicted to. So for me, it was finding new ways to handle and manage those things. And as someone who has struggled with depression and anxiety since I was in college, this was the first time that I had like a clear head where I could really, really focus on overcoming that depression and trying to manage that anxiety to a point where I'm not medicated anymore. And again, I don't condone and I don't suggest that you go to your doctor and say, I want to get off of my medication. But for me, having no alcohol and having a clear frame of mind gave me the space and the grace to be able to really focus on therapy and working on myself to where I was comfortable and my doctor was comfortable trying it out without medication. And I have been off of anxiety and depression medication for just about 9 months now. And I feel really, really, really good. During the pandemic, I had to up my dosage of my antidepressant and get on a new one when I went up through this horrible breakup. And now I'm not on anything. And I'm just so freaking proud of myself for taking the leap of faith, going against societal norms, and taking this time for me. Being sober has also allowed me to have just a healthier lifestyle overall. Once I was sober for a few months, I decided I can really do anything if I put my mind to it. And I did the 75 Hard Challenge. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a very intense diet, exercise, like mind over matter challenge where for 75 days straight, you follow a very strict regimen. And I did it. And I did it successfully. I lost like 30 pounds in 75 days. I was active every single day. It was just like such a rewarding experience that I literally didn't think I would ever be able to do, and I did it. And in that moment, I knew that this sobriety thing was something I was going to be able to hold on to for the rest of my life. Like there's nothing I couldn't do. If I could do that for 75 days straight, which included no drinking, I could do anything. And it's just really been a catalyst. This sobriety has been a catalyst to a lot of good lifestyle changes for myself. In 2022, I lost 50 pounds, which is amazing, like phenomenal. And I didn't have to do some crazy like diet and exercise regimen. I just focused on taking better care of myself, and in turn I was making better choices with food. I wasn't drinking, so like those empty calories didn't exist. I was being more active. I was just taking better care of myself. Part of my 2023 resolution is to just continue to carry the torch of taking good care of myself and focusing on self-love, self-care, and being the best version of myself every single day. If this is something that you're thinking about doing for yourself, please ask any questions you may have. Feel free to like DM me on Instagram. I would love to be able to share more perspective or guidance or help throughout this journey. I cannot stress enough how much of a difference this choice has made in my life, and it's something that I'm super, super grateful for. Take the leap of faith. You won't regret it. I made this decision for myself, and I am not looking back.